Hi, I'm Phil Williamson. In this video I'm going to go through and explain the overall structure and architecture of how Intelledox Infiniti fits together. So as the name is described, Intelledox Infiniti was smart documents, intelligent documents. So Intelledox Infiniti is an XML engine, so based on a series of rules you could generate an output. So what we could do is we could generate smart documents. These documents were made up of a number of components. They could be made up of standard content, text, images, a whole range of static content that goes into a document, plus some variable components such as a person's name, address, and so on. So what we had was a whole series of inputs, docs, images, text. These were combined based on a series of rules to generate an output, and this could be a standard document. But what we found is that there were a whole variety of output types required. Because Intelledox Infiniti is an XML engine, we can actually output a whole range of data. For example, we can push out a PDF. We can also then generate other types of documents, such as HTML, email, XML, CSV, pretty much any type of output you would like. So the original premise of what Intelledox was about is we could assemble static content with dynamic content and push that out as a smart document. But what we found over time is that this was a much broader requirement, and people had a much broader requirement. So what we started doing is extending what Intelledox was about and moving into other things such as Excel and PowerPoint, and the ability to integrate with other applications such as a record management system or a document management system, so RDMS. So Intelledox Infiniti allows you to define a series of rules, combine content, and push that out as a whole range of output types. But with Intelledox, what we found is that we needed to draw data from a variety of different data sources. And so what we needed to do is go and look at connecting to databases, legacy systems, a whole range of other applications to draw that data and put it into a document and dynamically push that out. So as part of this, what we built in was a data connector. So we could input SQL databases, ERP, a whole range of other applications such as CRM. So what we built with Intelledox was this ability to connect a variety of different applications, draw those together and push that data through. So with Intelledox at the moment we have around 60 different connectors. So these can be applications such as SharePoint, Microsoft CRM, SAP, Salesforce, pretty much any kind of application you can possibly dream of. So we can draw that data in one application or many applications, combine that based on a series of rules and push that out in pretty much any format that we wanted. So we have this ability to manipulate and push out a single document or many, many documents. And we can push those out in a variety of different formats based on different rules within the application. But what we found is that this ability to draw data and push it out into documents also required an interaction with a user. So this interaction needed to be basically a web-based smart form. Now Intelledox Infiniti is a rules-based engine. You can design and build a series of rules. What's really neat about those XML rules is it's a graphical environment for designing those rules. You don't need any programming ability to put those rules together. So what we built was this input side. So we designed a series of smart forms. So we have an internal form, an external form, or now we also have a mobile form. And what we can do is we can design this series of smart forms using Intelledox engine. Now these smart forms externally facing is basically it's an anonymous form. So we can design and build a highly dynamic, highly interactive smart form and publish that out to the web. An anonymous user can access that form, fill in that form, and manipulate that form. An internal form is an authenticated user, so we know who that person is. So we can understand information about that particular person. So with Intelledox Infiniti, we can design those forms. A person can interact with that form and then push out a document or whatever they need to push out. But what we found is because we can link to any data source, so we can link into SQL databases or Oracle or SAP, we can also draw that data out and we can push that into an intelligent form. So what we're finding is that these smart forms can be quite rich and interactive and have data displayed in those forms and interact with the user. The output then may be a document, it may not be, it may be an update to a database. What we also then found as we needed was workflow. So the workflow engine that sits on the top of Intelledox can be our own internal workflow engine, or we can connect to an external workflow engine. So the workflow allows us to design and build a process, basically a document process, and we can have that process displayed and manipulated through Intelledox. For example, we can have a form, and that form can be completed and then passed along to another person, such as a supervisor or someone else. So where we're getting a lot of strength with Intelledox is we have pretty much any document process we can manipulate, or we can reproduce that document process and put that document process into an electronic form. More and more, the richness of this ability to connect into back-end legacy systems and draw that data out and put it up into a smart form and have as an output, any type of output, adds a lot of richness and sophistication to Intelledox.